By now, 2016 is old news, but the South African Cross Country Series is about to kick off for the new year, and here is an exclusive look into the new season, which is brought to you by Toyota and Ford, with the series now powered by Total. With a number of changes to the series, as well as an exciting addition to the field of competitors, the 2017 South African Cross Country Series is shaping up to be a cracker. We're just 1 week away from the opening round of the 2017 South African Cross Country Series, and it's time to take a gander at what lies ahead. As ever, the season promises to bring great excitement to several different locations. But before we get into the year, let's take a look at what happened in 2016. If anything, the 2016 season will be remembered as the one in which Leroy Poulter, together with navigator Rob Howie, completely dominated proceedings. The Joburg-based racer won every round he entered last year, wrapping up the championship with 2 rounds in hand. He also powered to championship glory in the South African National Rally Championship, winning all but one of the events he entered. As a result, he became only the second person, after the legendary Hannes Grobler, to hold both titles in the same season. Sadly, his dream season was curtailed by an anomalous growth in his brain, which required major surgery. But the Toyota Gazoo Racing SA driver is young and strong, and we caught up with him at the first test session in preparation for the 2017 season.
Yeah, this is great to be back in the car again. This is the first time, obviously, from our problem we had last year, and yeah, really great to be back. It feels good again, and the car feels good too.
It was also a year of great battles, featuring amongst others Jason Venter and Chris Visser duking it out for top honours in the Class T. And in Class A, it was Evan Hutchinson and Aussie Dave McShane who pulled no punches. To the victors went the spoils in the end, but for the spectators, it was an enthralling battle to watch. The 2016 season got underway at the spiritual home of cross-country racing in South Africa, namely the town of Vryburg in the Northwest Province. With support from RFS, the Vryburg Endurance turned out to be a bit of a beast, as it featured a new intermediate race distance of nearly 700 kilometers. It was a race with hair on its chest, but in the end, it was the 2-class FIA Toyotas of Poulter and Taylor that topped the standings. Class T victory went to Jason Venter and Vince van Alleman in their 4x4 Mega World Hilux, whilst Evan Hutchinson and Donnie Stassen drew first blood in the special vehicle category. But maybe the drive of the entire weekend went to Keith McInerney with stand-in navigator Greg Godrich. The Lesotho-based driver claimed his first ever podium finish in their bat, a great finish to a tough weekend. From one of the longest races to one of the shortest we went, as the cross-country circus shifted to the Free State town of Vryburg for round 2. This race featured an innovative new format known as a super sprint and was run over a total race distance of only 200 kilometers. The home of the Dome, as Vryburg is also known, turned into a right old battlefield, as NWM Racing's Chris Visser set a blistering pace over the opening loop. But it was the 2 factory Toyota Hiluxes of Poulter and Taylor that again dominated the standings, as Quinton and Cully Solwald bagged maximum points for the special vehicle category. Round 3 was the ever-popular Toyota Kalahari Botswana 1000 Desert Race, or the Desert for short. But if its nickname is short, it stands in stark contrast to the 1,000 kilometers of racing that the crews had to tackle, right through the heart of the Kalahari Desert. With 3 days of racing, the desert is not for the faint-hearted, and traditionally, it serves as a pivotal point in the season. With double points on offer, a strong performance in Botswana is worth its weight in gold. For Aussie Dave McShane and navigator Alvin Kutsia driving the Fox-supported Class A Special, it was a massive victory, setting them up for a tussle with teammates Hutchinson and Stassen, which ended up going down to the wire. In a ding-dong result, Class T honours went to 4x4 Mega World's Jason Fenter, swinging the championship momentum his way after NWM Ford's Chris Visser failed to score meaningful points. And in Class FIA, it was again the two Dakar Spec Toyotas of Kazoo Racing SA that set the pace. Poulter kept his clean sheet for the season, with Taylor taking second again. Next up was the first regular race of the season, featuring the now almost standard race distance of 450 kilometres. Round 4 took the cruise back to the northwest for the Lichtenberg 450. After the championship shuffle of the desert race, Lichtenberg offered some crews an opportunity to fight back, while it would be an easy cruise for others. While cross-country victories never come easy, Class P special driver John Thompson certainly did make it look easy, as did Evan Hutchinson in the Motorite Bat. For Hutchinson, the victory was much needed as he tried to stay in touch with McShane in the championship. Fenter and Van Alleman took another victory for 4x4 Mega World in the Class Ts, whilst Gary Berthold and stand-in navigator Jeff Minott recorded a second-place finish in the brand-new Volkswagen Amarok. Luke Berta and Andre Vermeulen also did well, recording a second consecutive podium finish in their Force Fuel Nissan Navara. Class S saw Yanni and Chris Visser Jr. spray the champagne, whilst Poulter and Taylor again dominated in Class FIA. At the same time, Terence Marsh notched up a third-place finish in Class FIA, alongside singer Kurt Darren doing navigating duties in the Red Line Motorsport Nissan Navara.
Unreal experience, you know. But it was awesome. Really had so much fun. You know, it was got much respect for the sport now. You know, I don't think I know what these guys go through.
With an unbeaten record to protect, Leroy Poulter and Rob Howie set off for round 5 of the 2016 championship and didn't disappoint. The Toyota Gazoo Racing SA pair brought their big Toyota Hilux home in first place on the Unkamazi 450 down in the low-felt town of Malalan, followed by teammates Taylor and Murphy. The sweltering heat of the low-felt, even in midwinter, served as a backdrop for a stunning Class T victory by local lads Johan and Werner Horn, driving the Malalan Toyota Hilux. While a maiden Class S victory for Otto Graven and Bobby Brewis gave Toyota a clean sweep in the Unkamazi class podiums. John Thompson again made it look easy in Class P, whilst Hutchison continued his march on the championship with yet another victory. And so on to round 6 of 2016, the Sun City 450. With the overall title already bagged by Poulter and Howie, all eyes turned to the battles in classes T and A. As it turned out, Poulter was sidelined for the race anyway, with Konrad Rattenbach slotting into his seat for the final 2 races of the year. Rattenbach did a fine job too, finishing second behind Taylor and Murphy in the Class FIA Toyota Hilux. But the biggest victory of the weekend undoubtedly went to Aussie Dave McShane and Elfie Kutsia, who kept the Class A championship alive by beating out Hutchinson and Starson. And in Class T, the spoils went to Chris Visser and Ward Huxtable in the NWM Ford Ranger, again taking the Class T championship right down to the final round of the season. That round took place in the Gauteng town of Glen Harvey, the traditional base for the Atlas Copco Gold 450. In the end, the Class FIA vehicles turned into also-rans despite taking overall victory once again. But all eyes were on Visser and Fenter in Class T, as well as Hutchison and McShane in Class A. It was a massive battle with many upsets along the way. But in the end, it was 4x4 Mega World's Jason Fenter and Vince Van Alleman who claimed the Class T championship, with Chris Visser and Ward Huxtable losing out by the narrowest of margins. And Class A? Well, that battle turned into one for the stewards. And when the show was produced, the result was still in the balance. Talk about a nail-biter. So that was 2016. Join us after the break when we talk all things 2017 and the new National Championship.
This is the science of tough. Brutal torture tests designed to challenge the Ford Ranger's capability and durability. Built to take on the world, they were thrown in the deep end. Driven to the limits, analyzed, and then tested some more. We raised the ante. and dropped a few surprises. The science of tough is all the proof you need that the Ford Ranger is tough, done smarter.
Meet Steve. Steve is worried. His car's just gone in for a repair. This is Jacques. His car is also in for a repair, but he's smiling because his mechanic only uses DOE spares. DOE quality parts ranges from fan belts, electronic fuel pumps, hydraulic cylinders, wiper blades, and much more. So be smart, be like Jacques. Insist on DOE quality parts. Quality worth paying for.
As soon as sidecars, as they became known, appeared on the roads, then their proud owners wished to enter competitions, just like the solo riders. Eventually, the sidecars were given their own class, with just the odd Morgan three-wheeler thrown in for good measure. And all over the world, spectators were treated to the skill of the drivers and the acrobatics of their passengers. For make no mistake, sidecars were not really designed to go round corners quickly.
Dubai. Nowhere is the density of supercars higher than here. Vehicles such as Ferrari and Mercedes-AMG belong to the daily street scene. But with this meteorite, one even gets noticed in the United Arab Emirates. The Ford GT, rightly known by Ford as the living legend. Karim Al-Azhari comes from Dubai and is a full-time racer. The owner of numerous horsepower monsters, he loves his Ford GT over everything because the GT, even officially, has a trunk.
So onwards to 2017, and with a new approach to the championship this year, there's certain to be even more fireworks to keep all of us glued to the action. For starters, the championship now has a new name, the South African Cross Country Series, or SACCS for short. Now officially encompasses both cars, known as the SACCS Auto, and bikes, known as the SACCS Moto. What's more, the cars and bikes will share the same route this year, though for safety reasons, not at the same time. This is an exciting new approach and will give spectators a thriller minute throughout each race weekend. SACCS Chairman Siegfried Rousseau gives us some more details on the new season.
Last year we started combining the motorbike and the car championship. This year we've got a whole new series called the SACC series. And it's very exciting for us to bring Total Exilium on board as one of our partners. So from now on it will be known as the SACCS powered by Total.
As in 2016, the 2017 SACCS season will be supported by both Toyota and Ford. The two automotive sponsors are both highly active in the sport, with Toyota well represented not only by the Toyota Gazoo Racing SA team, but also by several privateer squads. Ford performance is often, if not always, in the thick of the fight, and in 2016 the title chase in Class T boiled down to Ford's Chris Visser versus Toyota's Jason Fenter. But for 2017, another big brand has joined the list of SACC partners in the form of the French fuel and lubricant giant Total. The announcement was made at Total SA's Rosebank HQ during a glitzy daytime function, which was well attended by various interested parties as well as the media. Total's support as official fuel supplier to the championship marks a return to South African motorsport after an absence of nearly half a decade, and the tie-up is sure to benefit both the championship and Total, as MD and CEO Pierre-Yves Sachet explains.
Total has a very long history and track record in motorsport and motor racing, and I think it's just putting together two big names in a new journey. and we want together to demonstrate the quality of our products and the quality of developing that kind of partnership.
But the SACCS wasn't the only player to welcome a new partner. The NWM team announced a partnership with Puma Lubricants at a swanky team launch held at the Ford Performance Center in Centurion. The team unveiled their latest version of the Ford Ranger, resplendent in its new Ford Performance Puma Lubricants NWM livery. But there was a lot more news from the team than just the livery, as team boss Neil Woolridge laid out for us.
Here we are, this is our brand new Ford Ranger for the 2017 season. As I alluded to earlier on, we built two brand new cars, which are really, really quick, really fast. We've in the preliminary testing that we've done already, we've already seen quite a big improvement, so we're expecting some good things.
So 3 cars in their lineup, with Gareth Woolridge and Boyd Dreyer pretty much continuing where they left off in 2016. But a welcome return to local cross-country racing for Lance Woolridge, partnered again with experienced navigator Ward Huxtable.
But I'm looking forward to the season extremely much. I think it's going to be a very tough season. I think the biggest competition is going to come from our own team. There's 2 very, very fast young men on our team with me.
And a great addition to the sport too, in the form of former rally ace Henk Lateghan, who will be stepping into a very different beast when he lines his Ford Ranger up for round 1 next weekend. Beside him in the car is trusted navigator Barry White, who will need to learn a whole new set of skills for the transition from rallies to cross-country racing. But Lateghan was upbeat and excited when we caught up with him at the Glitzy team announcement.
I'm really thankful for the opportunity with Neil Woolridge and his team. Really looking forward to driving the car. It's a beast. I'm nervous to start testing, nervous to start driving the car for the first time. So yeah, just exciting times ahead, I think.
There are also changes in the Toyota Gazoo Racing SA camp, though in their case it was one of more experience rather than less of it. South Africa Dakar veteran Janelle de Villiers joins the local fray for 2017 and will do duty beside former navigating champion Dennis Murphy. This means that Anthony Taylor, a long-time mainstay of the sport, moves into a role as test and standby driver for the team, with development of the team's next Dakar challenger firmly in his sights. Speaking of Dakar, 2017 was a year that de Villiers, partnered on the event with German navigator Dirk van Zietsewitz, would just as soon forget. The race got off to a positive start, with Toyota Gazoo Racing SA teammates Nasser Alatia and Matteo Bermal drawing first blood by winning the opening stage of the race. De Villiers himself posted a great time on the opening stage and clearly showed his intent to challenge for the podium with a strong result again in stage 2. But then came stage 3, where a fuel pressure problem halted the South African in his tracks. He lost 32 minutes on that day and batted from the back foot from there right till the end of the race in Argentina and the capital, Buenos Aires. In the end, for de Villiers and van Zietsewitz, it was a 5th place finish. Far from a disgrace, but certainly not the podium position the Stellenbosch lad had aimed for. And so on to the rest of 2017. A return to local racing and many plans to improve on the team's performance at the Dakar in 2018. Team principal Glenn Hall gave us some more details.
The first point of call is really to get Leroy settled back into the driver's seat, and we're doing this by testing some new ideas and also confirming what Leroy feels the changes are. So exciting times and a bit of pressure for the team.
Toyota also enjoys the support of several dedicated privateers. And in 2016, both the Class T and Class S championships were both won by Toyota privateers. In Class T, the victor's crown went to 4x4 Mega World's Jason Fenter and Vince van Alleman after a tough season. And in Class S, it was Otto Graven and Bobby Brewis in the Graven Motorsport Toyota Hilux that brought home the spoils for the Japanese car manufacturer. And if Toyota have it their way, there's sure to be more of the same in 2017. Over in the special vehicle category, the big news is that Evan Hutchinson, who officially retired at the end of last year, has put his retirement plans on hold. The plucky Hutchie, who always seems to make a plan, has teamed up with insurance giant King Price to form the King Price Extreme Racing Team. Under the new agreement, Hutchison will again campaign in Class A with navigator Donnie Stassen, while former rally driver and motorsport fanatic Schalk Burger Jr. will field a second car in the same class. Burger, who can be described as anything but petite, will be joined in the car by Aldine Coetzee, who is certainly a lot more petite and prettier than the burly Burger. The two should make an interesting team, but make no mistake, Burger can be pretty quick, and once he gets the hang of his new steed, we'd expect to see him near the front of the field. At the same time, the King Price partnership affords Hutchison the opportunity to do what he does even better than making deals, and that's driving the living daylights out of his special vehicle. And talking of special vehicles, there have been some minor changes to the way the SACCS Championship works. Minor? Maybe, but possibly with far-reaching consequences. For 2017, all competitors will be ranked according to their finishing position, regardless of their vehicle type. This move evens out the playing field significantly and is sure to heap pressure on the big boys in Class FIA, who have been used to having things their way. It also places a lot more emphasis on strategy, as going hell for leather during the qualifying race may result in a crew struggling to maintain their overall position as they hunt for the route. Essentially, the change also does away with the division between production vehicles and special vehicles, concentrating instead on the individual classes. And here's a reminder of what fits where in the world of South African cross-country racing. Class S is for the tubular frame vehicles, typically with mid or rear mounted engines that feature engines up to 4 litres in cubic capacity. These purpose-built monsters are certainly quick, but not quite as quick as the cars in Class A. Again, featuring tubular frames, massive tyres and rear-wheel drive layout, Class A caters for vehicles with engines over 4 litres in capacity. Spectacular beasts that thunder across a landscape in a constant state of crowd-pleasing oversteer. In a way, quite the opposite to the controlled approach of the cars that resemble production vehicles. 3 classes make up the production field, starting with Class S for 4-wheel drive production vehicles with engines up to 4 litres in capacity. Their big brothers are the cars in Class T, which have similar underpinnings but feature bigger engines. Both classes S and T sport cars with solid rear axles that race on off-the-shelf tyres. But over in the rarefied atmosphere of Class FIA, the biggest boys run cars with independent rear suspension and purpose-made racing tyres. The cars conform to FIA specifications for vehicles that compete on the cross-country World Cup as well as the Dakar Rally. And as such, these machines are in a league of their own. With that said, the gap between Class T and Class FIA has shrunk in recent years, and while the Class FIA vehicles should have a slight edge over their Class T brethren, the changes to the championship formula have completely leveled the playing field. Game on, in other words. So those are some of the key announcements, players and changes. Join us after the break as we take a look at the locations for the 2017 SACC Series.
You want the best deal when selling your car? You need webuycars.co.za. Visit South Africa's #1 car buying service.
Introducing your all-new Sowetan newspaper, now with a fresh new look. The all-new Sowetan, on sale now. Sowetan, in the know, on the move.
Welcome to the Wings and Wheels Festival held in Uitenhage at the Aerodrome in the Eastern Cape. The festival started as an air show and has grown to include classic cars and later 4x4 challenge and much more. The air show hosts an array of planes including the P-51 Mustang, an L-39 jet, the Sea Fury and a Sukhoi.
Welcome back to our preview of the 2017 SACCS season. We've had a look at some of the new names, old faces, rule changes, and big announcements. But what about the race calendar? Well, this year sees a new starting location in the form of Lichtenburg. The Northwest town put on a spectacular event in 2016 and is sure to supply exactly the same fireworks again this year, as the newly minted SACCS descends upon the area next weekend. Remember, This was the scene of Evan Hutchison and Donnie Stasson's fight back for the Class A Championship last year, and also saw Gary Berthold and Jeff Minott claim a great second position in Class T. But this year, we'll see a mass of entries, thanks to the addition of the bikes and quad races to the series, and will surely mark the start of a spectacular season. Round 2 will take place in the Dundee Battlefields, an area that hasn't been used by the cross-country cars for quite a while. It has, however, been a regular feature on the bike calendar, but this year will play host to the entire SACCS. The Dundee area is simply spectacular and offers a wide variety of different types of terrain, exactly the kind of thing that can, and most likely will, make for an enthralling event. The Dundee event is slated for the 12th and 13th of May. Time to prepare the Winter Woolies. From the battlefields of KZN, the SACCS moves out of South Africa for round 3 as the crown jewel of the series rolls around. The Toyota Kalahari Botswana 1000 Desert Race's name is a mouthful, but then so is the event itself. This year the race returns to the area around Joneng to the west of Botswana's capital, Gaborone. As ever, the event takes place over 3 days and is sure to supply more than enough fireworks for every fan. Last year saw Toyota dominate on their title event, and the lads from Toyota Gazoo Racing SA will certainly be gunning for glory in Botswana once again this year. The race takes place on the 23rd to the 25th of June, smack bang in the middle of winter. And while the Kalahari can get toasty even during midwinter days, the nights can get cold indeed. Even so, not even the freezing nights can dampen the spirits of the tens of thousands of spectators that traditionally come to see the cars and bikes take on one of the toughest challenges of the year. The desert, as it's known, has become an icon of motorsport in Africa, and there's no reason for this year's race to be any different. The location for round 4 of the series, which takes place on the 28th and 29th of July, is yet to be confirmed, but round 5 will again take place in the area around Sun City. This race has proven both popular and very tough in the past, with the dates penned for 2017 of the 15th and 16th of September. By the time Sun City swings around, the championship will be reaching its climax. With a bit of luck, one crew may already have the big trophy in the bag, but then again, the changes to the rules may open things up considerably, forcing a mad dash for glory right to the final round of the season. Unfortunately, the location for the season closeout has not been confirmed yet, but wherever it might take us, the final round may well prove to be one of the toughest races in the history of the sport. With the rules allowing all competitors to challenge for the overall title, we could conceivably see a whole bunch of crews slugging it out right to the end. We can't think of anything better, and on the 27th and 28th of October this year, that's exactly what we're likely to encounter. With less than 1 week to go before the flag drops for the start of the season, most teams are already packed and getting ready for the trek to Lichtenberg. We can't wait for the season to get underway, and we'll catch up with you again after round 1 of the 2017 championship. This preview to the 2017 SACCS was brought to you by Toyota, Ford and Total Exilium.